A man sneaks into the lion's den, boasting he will kill the king of the jungle. However, he soon realizes the den has an exit and flees. But then he gets lost and encounters a starving lion whose cubs have gone hungry. How does the man escape? This is the channel, and today we will tell you the story of the hunter, who was hunted by a tiger until help arrived. So let's get started. Imagine a lone hunter stepping into the dense forest. His footsteps echo on the damp leaves, the air heavy with the smell of rain and earth. His name was Akash, a young man barely 25 years old. He was known for his skills with the spear, his ability to track prey through the thickest undergrowth. Tonight, he was after a tiger that had been preying on cattle. The villagers were too afraid to venture out to hunt it. So Ash was called in, armed with a spear and guided by a seasoned tracker named Bahadur. They tracked the tiger for hours, following the sound of its growls and the scent that clung to the damp soil. Just before sunset, they found their quarry. It was massive, its stripes glowing in the fading light. The hunt was on, but Akash thought he was the predator, the one in control, the one who decided who lived and died. He didn't know that tonight the jungle had other plans. In the shadows, a pair of golden eyes blinked. It saw them coming, yet remained still, patiently waiting. A small smile played on the hunter's lips. He had found many tigers in his life, and none had proven elusive. He was sure this one would flee, giving him another notch on his belt. But something about the tiger's stillness unnerved him, like a premonition of some unseen danger. As he crept closer, the tiger suddenly leaped out of the tall grass. The sound of its growl shook the ground beneath his feet. Fear clutched at his throat, turning his blood to ice. Adrenaline surged through him. In a panic, he threw his spear, missing the tiger by a whisker. It landed with a thud a few feet away. The tiger snarled, its hot breath misting in the air. Then it did something unexpected. Instead of attacking, it picked up his spear and tossed it aside, a mocking gesture that sent shivers down his spine. He had hunted tigers before, but never had one displayed such intelligence. Never had he seen one that could understand human moves and anticipate his strikes. All his confidence drained away, leaving him bare and vulnerable in the face of the majestic beast. There was nowhere to hide. Every tree, every leaf seemed to mock his predicament. The jungle, once familiar, now loomed over him like a conspirator, holding its breath as the cat advanced slowly. Every snap of a branch, every rustle of leaves tightened the grip of fear around his chest. He gripped his spear tighter, scanning the darkness. But the tiger was faster, smarter, more agile. Its eyes glowed like twin embers in the gloom, reflecting the fierce determination of the beast. Ash tried to strike back, but the spear seemed heavy in his hands, his arm aching with fatigue. The tiger was a whirlwind of orange and black, dodging his attacks with ease, leaving him bewildered and increasingly hopeless. Ash began to stumble, his steps heavy with exhaustion and dread. The tiger pressed its advantage, driving him back deeper into the jungle. All around him, the trees and bushes seemed to close in, forming a living wall that offered no escape. And then came the growl, a deep, earth-shaking sound that froze his body. It was a sound that spoke of power, of ancient instincts, of a creature at the top of its game. The sound struck terror into his very core, shaking the foundations of his courage. In that moment, surrounded by the oppressive darkness of the forest and the chilling echoes of the tiger's growl, Ash understood what it felt like to be hunted, to be at the mercy of a predator. For the first time in his life, he was scared, truly scared. The realization dawned on him. He wasn't the mighty hunter, he was just prey in the most terrifying situation he had ever been in. And all the bravado that had characterized him up until this point seemed to evaporate in the face of the tiger's raw power. Suddenly, remembering the stories told by the village elders about those who dared to hunt tigers and never returned, he broke into a run, his lungs burned, legs pumping as he crashed through the undergrowth. But the sound of heavy paws on soft earth behind him told him the tiger was gaining. Each footfall echoed like thunder, driving him relentlessly forward. The tiger was fast, too fast for anyone, he thought wildly. But the thought of being torn apart by those powerful jaws spurred him onward. The branches of the ancient trees overhead seemed to form a tunnel, blocking out the sky as he plunged deeper into the jungle's heart. The air grew thick and heavy, amplifying the pounding of his own heart. He could hear the tiger's breath now, hot and rank on his heels. And he knew, if it caught him, there would be no escape. He burst into a small clearing, gasping for breath. Before him stood a large tree, its roots like gnarled fingers clutching the earth. And instinctively he dashed behind it, hoping the thick foliage would offer some concealment. But the tiger was relentless. It crashed into the undergrowth at the edge of the clearing, and then it was there, blocking his path. Its eyes blazed with a cold fire, its teeth bared in a snarl. The hunter's heart hammered against his ribs, threatening to burst free. Trapped between the unyielding trunk of the tree and the wrath of the tiger, he felt a surge of despair. There was nowhere to go, no way to escape. It was as if the forest itself was conspiring against him, determined to see him broken and defeated. Then he remembered Bahudur's words. If trapped, make yourself big. Stand your ground." Ash took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and let out a loud yell, hoping to intimidate the tiger. But the beast just stared back, unfazed. The hunter's facade crumbled, and he was about to give in to the terror that threatened to consume him when a sharp crack split the night. The sound carried on the wind, echoing through the silent trees. Startled, the tiger paused, its head whipping toward the source of the noise. In that brief moment, Ash seized his chance. With a burst of adrenaline, he charged past the startled tiger, crashing through the undergrowth. He could hear the tiger's enraged roar reverberating behind him, but he didn't dare look back. He ran blindly, fueled by fear and the desperate hope of escape. After what seemed like an eternity, the sounds of the forest began to fade away. The roaring of the tiger, the rustle of leaves under its paws, the snapping of twigs as it moved through the undergrowth, all of it receded into the darkness. Only the beating of his own heart echoed in his ears. At last, he stumbled out of the jungle's embrace and gasped for breath. Before him lay the familiar landscape of the village, bathed in the soft glow of torches. The sight brought tears to his eyes, tears of relief, gratitude, and a touch of humiliation. He was safe, but his ordeal was far from over. As dawn broke, the jungle looked calm again, sunlight painting gold across the leaves. But for the hunter, every bird call, every shifting shadow carried a reminder of that night. He had faced fear, looked into the eyes of a predator, and survived only because others came to his aid. His story was no longer one of dominance, but of humility, respect, and survival. And the lesson remains clear. In the wild, strength is not only about weapons or courage, it is about knowing when to respect the power of nature. Because the hunter who entered the jungle as a predator walked out forever remembering the night he became the prey. So friends, what do you think about this story? Do you agree with the views of the hunter? Let us know in the comments section below. And please subscribe to our channel for the next video. Thanks for watching.